Welcome back to the channel, and in today's video I'm going to be making a different clone trooper, and this is actually one of our first commanders we've ever made because looking at it now I've never made a commander, so this will be good. Commander Thorn was a clone commander that was in charge of the Coruscant Guard, protecting Padme Amidala and other senators that came to Scipio. During their time there, they were ambushed by the Separatist Alliance, where Commander Thorn and his men were taken by surprise by Vulture droids, Hyena bombers, and droid gunships. Most of his men did not survive. In fact, none of them survived at all. Even the commander himself went ahead and took the droids head-on before inevitably meeting his death. However, before he met his end, he gave one last for the Republic, showing us the clone troopers do fight to the bitter end. Commander Thorn is one of those clones you just don't forget for that one thing. So with all that being said, let's get on to this project. For this project I'm going to be using Smoothcast 300. When these two are mixed together they make a white plastic. And using my Dremel I'm going to get rid of the slit for this helmet, but I had a thought about this helmet, this project in particular. Whenever I cast a helmet, the plastic is white. So I'm thinking, if I don't have to do all the priming process, that would save a lot of time. And I kind of have to think this way since at this moment I wasn't able to get any white. Later on I could, but at the moment I'm doing this, I didn't have any. So, I'm just going to go straight forward and add the red to the helmet, and without using any primer, just see where this goes. And I was very interested in seeing if this would work out. If this worked out, I could use this for other projects in the future, like a lot of things. Removing the tape from this helmet, I liked the design I did for this, and although it's not exactly accurate, for example the red, I did like how this turned out. It was definitely something I wanted to add onto the helmet, giving it a personal touch. Now, this helmet looks really good, but it's still missing a lot of details, such as the black for the buttons on the earpieces right here, and the erasers that have their gray. Adding those on wasn't too hard. I had to hand paint that, but that's alright. And right now, Hobart face shields are a little hard to come by, so I'm just using any Hobart face shield I have left. So, I'm using this piece, and it looks a little odd, but it works. And if I add this onto the helmet, you're not going to be able to notice, and that's always a perk. Now, for the next part about this helmet, I'm going to be making the visor for the helmet, the black piece that goes around the helmet. It also has a tricky design that's, when thinking about it, not tricky, but I had to think about it since this is a different piece. Now, after sanding the spot putty off of this visor, I had to give it a fresh coat of primer, and at this moment I was able to get gloss from an AutoZone. So I added on to the helmet and then proceeded to add matte black. And after doing this, I was hoping that this would turn out alright, and it pretty much did. Other whites I've worked with in the past have had a lot of tricky issues such as bubbling or dripping, and this one worked out pretty well. I'm not sure if it's because Lowe's doesn't take care of their stuff or if it's just because of me. But overall, I like how this turned out. It looks really clean, and I'm not going to be gluing this onto the helmet, of course, but I will be putting it on. And the reason I'm not gluing it on is because later on I have to transport this, and I don't have to worry about that right now. Alright, and with all that being said, here we are, Commander Thorn's helmet. I really like how this one turned out. The details on this one took a little longer than expected, especially the wings, since I've never done wings on a helmet before. So, I want to see how I look. I have a lot of respect for this clone trooper, even though he was only featured in one episode of the Clone Wars, so there's that. So, even though this was an experimental one, I like how it turned out. Now, even though this helmet looks like it's pretty well put together, the visor itself is not glued onto the helmet, and the reason I did that is because if I ever transport this, I don't want this to break off and leave some residue. I'm going to leave that to the person that purchases this helmet. That way, they don't have to worry about me screwing up. But if they do, they're going to worry about themselves screwing up, so... Well, either way, I'm just hoping that they do a good job like I would try to do a good job. Even with all the weird stuff that went on with this helmet, such as not giving it primer, or using any kind of Hobart face shield I have left, this helmet turned out alright, and that's because I'm trying to do my best when it comes to these helmets. And the reason? I have a lot of respect for the clone troopers in the Clone Wars. I can't wait to see them again in the Bad Batch, and I hope that we see a lot more clones that we didn't get to see in the Clone Wars. But until then, thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate what you guys have done for the channel, and this is just one of the new projects I want to try to do this year. So until then, have a good one.